All right, that's from Energies. We'll talk about your world business today when we return. This is Realize Exchange. Yeah, I'm chatting tonight to Professor Kenife, development economist, to look at Nigeria's macro markets and finance week. Prof, thank you very much for coming through. My first question has to do with the that $1.25 billion Eurobond floated announced yesterday evening by the debt office.
Yeah, that was great, actually. And it does say that Nigeria still remains credit-worthy, in the eyes of international investors. And it's good news. And you could even see how we exploited that sentiment to bring down the rates from 8.7 plus down to 8.3. So, and then the market is still strong. And although there are some Nigerians that invested, I think about $60 million in there. So it's good that we can attract those. And being the first in Africa in the current year, 2022, to enter that market is encouraging.
I'm not too sure if many Nigerians or some Nigerians will share your optimism that is good, but because the borrowings, how does that play into our already tight macroeconomic space, Professor?
I don't dispute that at all. But the fact of the matter is that if you look at the budget, we have a balance of 50% for foreign borrowing and 50% for domestic borrowing. And if you go to the foreign, it's also almost 50%, 50-50 for bilateral and multilateral loans, which do take a bit more time to crystallize. And then, of course, the likes of the Eurobond are a bit quicker to put through. So there's that balance. And of course, I know the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007 says go for long-term loan at least 3% or something concessionary rates. But when you balance 0 to 2% concessionary rate with the higher 8.3% something, then we're coming down. We're coming down to the prudential guide.
I'm sure how much you've enjoyed your sleep this week with the crunching energy shortage. What's the way out? Just give me one line if you have any idea how we can resolve this persistent power deficit.
Well, we just can't wait for the whole scenario to become very competitive. We need to see they are refined right now, they come on stream. We need to see modular ones come on stream. We can't wait for Dangote thing to come so that this story, this monologue will come to an end. I mean, Nigeria just takes the advantage. The Nigerian factor enters into what would have been a simple 1 month delay. Now it has become a bigger problem. It's so unfortunate that we don't seem to have much choice in what is going on.
I'm trying to find new ideas, harvest something from those of you who are development economists on how to resolve our energy crisis, electricity.
Well, for the electricity, we've always seen the mistakes that have been made in the privatization process because we weren't very strong in scrutinizing the fact that we needed people with deep pocket as well as technical capacity. So we made those mistakes, and then we inherited a huge misalignments in the sector. But I would have thought by now that the main transmission units would be more stable with the Siemens taking over and getting right into the TCN side of things, because the collapse is always on the transmission lines. And I had thought that by now we would have had more stability on the transmission line so that we can continue to address the issue of the discos, which is also receiving great attention. Money is being lent to them on meters, and then we do more on the gas. But it's just intractable. I think we need to continue to explore other options. I'm glad that the new law that was being passed would actually allow the states to get more interested and then get more private sector and at state level, and then also have power move to the mass market with all the packages of solar packages coming in off grid and mini grids, and that's where the energies need to go, so that we can answer more people. We should be looking for 100 megawatts, 100,000 megawatts, not 5,000 megawatts, and our capacity to generate is about 8,500 to 12,000. But what is actually coming out is about 4,000 or 5,000. And being major crisis being in the transmission line and the network instability. that is, causing so much transmission losses and then collapse, as you see.
Well,
So we could do better.
Yeah,
I'm sure we could do better.
Well, just quickly, how do you think the central bank monetary policy should decide next week on interest rate decision, considering latest inflation figure and the target of price stability?
Yeah, I support the central bank when it comes to the fact that we need to continue to defend our diversification program and continue to support employment measures, and then find the appropriate policy, monetary policy mix that support those objectives. If you look at America, the Fed has to, their primary objective is, apart from financial stability, not even financial stability, apart from the price stability, is employment. Is the two. Those are the two that they're focusing on. But in our own case, I think we don't need to jump the race. It was okay that last meeting we maintained the status quo, and I think we ought to maintain that status quo now, because we don't need to jump. Let's wait for Fed to do what they have to do, because they're under pressure to raise rates, and then let's see how much that comes in, and then we'll know the threat in the horizon. We know that the big headwind is oil prices going up, and of course we want to encourage. I would be saying to the fiscal authority, let's go and do more domestic borrowing now, because that will help tame the excess liquidity in the system. And then of course, central bank has other instruments at its disposal. And then we'll try to persuade central bank not to use the increase in MPR rate to deal with that liquidity issue. So at the moment, let's just watch and see what happens in the next meeting, not this one.
Okay, I'm sure you were excited that we got $15 billion for the Lagos-Abuja corridor at the Africa Investment Forum. That's some good news we can use at least this week, isn't it?
No, it is actually. Under ECOWAS, I've worked on that corridor in 2008, and I worked on it on World Bank side in 2011, 2012. It is very critical, very, very important. And I tell you why. About 80% of economic activity in the ECOWAS region actually our work is around that corridor, within 100 miles of that corridor. If you imagine Lagos to Ibadan, all that band going all the way to Faith, about 80% of the economic activity is in that band of 100 miles a kilometer from the coastline. And there is heavy intensity of shipping ports on the so economic activity. And in fact, the Nigerian semi-border is the busiest border in Africa. So we can tell you the level of economic activity going on in there. So we need to invest in infrastructure. Seriously. So it's music to my ear that we are finally coming in, because about 6-7 years ago, China wanted to do something there, and I don't know how that ended, because a very, very expensive quote that they got from them. But now I'm really glad that investors are coming in and private sector led. So we're going to see something dramatic.
That's some good news we can use as we head to the weekend. Thank you so much, Professor Ken Ife, Development Economist, for those thoughts and insight. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend, and see you next time. All right, From Energies, we'll talk about your world business today when we return. This is Your Rise Exchange.